Let's move on to the upper, and we have a piece of beauty in terms of upper. It is Hey everyone, and welcome back on the channel. My name is Alex, and in today's video we are discussing the Mont Blanc, this shoe from Altra. Yes, it's a trail shoe, and I think it's a very good looking trail shoe. Is it as good as it looks in terms of ride, in terms of capabilities? We shall find out in this video, so stay tuned for that. Thanks to Top for Running and Altra for sending me this shoe and for letting me review it. First of all, specs, and we're looking at 302 grams in terms of weight. That's about 10.5 ounces. For you out there in the US, it's a very lightweight shoe for that stack height and for that amount of rubber on the outsole. So, you know, compared to, for instance, the Speedgo 2 at 326 or the Speedland SLPDX at 345, that's really lightweight. The upper plays a big role in that. We'll come back to that in a second. Stack height, 30 millimeters in the heel, 30 millimeters in the forefoot. Yes, it's an Altra shoe, 0 millimeters of drop, which makes it, again, a very different and interesting shoe contender in that very long distance trail running category. Durometer scores, here we're looking at the Ego Max midsole from Altra at 33 on the durometer scale. I believe this compound is an EVA TPU blend with, I think, more TPU than EVA, the way it rides and how it feels. I don't have any, confirmation from Altra that this is the case. This is just a guess. But I think this is an EVA blend. The numbers match quite well that categories of foam compound as well. Outsole, we're looking at 65 on the durometer scale. Nothing outstanding here in terms of numbers. Last but not least, we have the weight of the platform, and it's an Altra shoe. It's a wide platform, but it's not as wide as I expected. This is in the ballpark of Clifton 8, Skechers Max Road 5. So wide in terms of platform, in the forefoot, in the midfoot. Not so much in the heel, to be honest, not as much as I expected, but it's not crazy wide either, and we'll see whether that translates to the fit. Let's move on to the upper, and we have a piece of beauty in terms of upper. It is very, very thin, and at the same time, not unstructured, not too pliable, not collapsing on the foot. It's just a very, very well designed upper, and it's very pleasant against the foot when in the shoe. So that's a very good thing. The tongue is also very, very interesting. As you can see, it has some padding in the middle, but it doesn't have any padding on the sides of the tongue. I believe that's just to prevent any, excessive pressure coming from those laces crossing in the middle of the tongue, and therefore the padding helps to prevent any excessive pressure here. We'll come back to the laces in a second. The tongue is semi-gusseted with a very thin and stretchy piece of fabric serving as a gusset. Same here. I think this is a very clever way of adjusting the fit and having a very nice wrap and lockdown in the midfoot. Lockdown in the heel is a drawback on this shoe for me at this stage of testing. I haven't had the perfect heel lockdown experience in this shoe for now. I have some movement in the heel, nothing too dramatic, and I think it can even serve as a plus, as an advantage if you prefer not to have something too snug in the heel. But for me, this slight movement, slight heel slippage is a bit too much, and I would prefer to have something a bit more dialed in. The heel cup, I think, is a bit too wide, at least for my form of my heel, which I think isn't too weird because many shoes work for me in the heel. So this, I think, is just a touch too wide in the heel. If you have wider heels or a bit swollen heels, maybe this would work even better for you. The two bolsters on the sides of this heel cup, heel counter are actually working okay in terms of padding and comfort, but I think making them a bit, thicker would help with the lockdown. The rigidity is nothing, crazy. which again may not play in the sense of a very good heel lockdown for me. I know some people like to have something not too stout in terms of heel counter, so there you go. If you're enjoying this video, if you find it useful, please consider giving it a like and subscribing to the channel. It really helps the video and the channel to be promoted by the YouTube algorithm. Thanks a lot for doing that. Insert insole, I think this is a very interesting one, and I'm not super familiar with Altra shoes. This is the first Altra shoe on the channel, by the way, and only the second one that I'm testing personally. So I don't know if this is, you know, the standard Altra insole in their shoes, but it's very interesting in terms of how it's designed. I think the cushion it adds is also quite noticeable, so I think this is interesting to mention. Now the laces, and I think this is the second biggest drawback on this shoe. I expected with the form of these laces, looking a bit like hiking laces, to have something either stretchy, like elastic laces, which they are to a very, very minor limit. I would have preferred something more stretchy and, you know, something that you can just lace once and then you just slip in the shoe, like in triathlon, duathlon type of shoes. This is not the case, and the lacing experience is a bit poor. I couldn't really figure how not to make them too snug. The pressure was just too much on the top of my foot because of those laces. I was unlacing them and trying to make them loose without losing the lockdown, if it makes sense to you. Yeah, the laces, I may even consider replacing them because this would make it a very, very good shoe, even better than it is if the lacing experience was better than it is now. In terms of fit, it's not super wide in the forefoot. It's an Altra shoe, it's on the wide side of things, but in the Altra realm, it's not the very widest fit you will experience in the forefoot. If you have a wide fit, I think this will work for you, but with a wide fit, you won't have that toe spraying that you may be looking for in an Altra shoe. With a more standard foot that I have, I had plenty of volume and room in the forefoot. So, you know, it also depends what type of foot shape you have, but it's not super, super wide. In the midfoot, it's actually perfect for me, so it's not wide at all in terms of fit. And again, heel, a bit of slippage for me. Midsole, Ego Max Midsole, which I believe is an EVA TPU blend. Plenty of cushion and at the same time a very nice, light but nice bounce to it. Softer than I expected, softer than many trail shoes I tried. It reminded me in a way of the midsole on the Trabuco Max from ASICS, but without that very aggressive rocker in the forefoot. So it has a bit of rocker. I think this is also important for you to know, but certainly not as aggressive as on the Trabuco Max from ASICS. The type of ride and the type of cushion and bounce combo, many cushion without too much softness, a bit of bounce without anything too dramatic. That's what you have here. Very pleasant rides, very forgiving, very comfortable, and that geometer score here in the low 30s is what I actually enjoy myself. Quite nice. It reminded me also in a way of the ride of my Speedgo 2, if this makes sense. Here in a softer type of ride and a bit more, I would say, pleasant on longer distances. The Speedgo 2 was very fine for me. I did a 50K race in it, but I wouldn't have gone much further. This, I think, could be taken, not by me because I'm not an ultra trail runner, but this could be definitely taken to longer distances. Outsole, here there's a caveat. I haven't tried the shoe on wet surfaces yet, but for the trail testing that I did, it worked really well. The logs, I think, are 4 millimeters and are just what you need on some mixed terrains. Stuff with, you know, too much mud wouldn't necessarily work here, but you definitely have some nice grippy experience, and I will report back to you once I tried it on wet surfaces. Another drawback if you are running on very aggressive rocky terrains, the toe bumper, the toe protection isn't anything outstanding. So, you know, that very nice and light upper has some drawbacks, and it depends also on the type of terrains you are running on. Price point, we're looking at 180 euros. I think this is a fair price point for this shoe, for, you know, a very comprehensive, very unique type of shoe. I must say that there are two things now that I'm really looking forward. The first one is the BOA version of this shoe, because I believe it may help with the heel lockdown for me, and with an even better, you know, lockdown and upper experience, feet experience. So I'm really looking forward to the BOA upper of this shoe. And I'm also looking forward, Altra, if you are looking at this video, could you have the same shoe, same stack height, but for the road? That would be amazing. I'm really looking forward to it. I really enjoyed that 30 millimeters here. The 0mm drop is something, you know, very unique, and it may or may not work for your foot strike gait cycle. It works really well for mine. So I'm enjoying it, and I would just like to see this shoe on the roads because I'm running 90% of the time on the road, and I would like to have the same experience in terms of midsole, Ego Max, cushion, little bounce, but on the roads, if it makes sense. So Altra, if you can come up with something on the roads very similar to this, it would be great. Thanks a lot for watching, guys. This is it for today. Enjoy your run today, enjoy your ride, go beyond your limits, and most importantly, take care. I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.